Hey, what's up and welcome back, treasure hunters. I am the treasure hunting dad, back with more thrift store finds. Found a bunch of stuff, a lot of different stuff, everything from pottery to photos, fine art, and art glass even. So you're not going to want to miss these treasures. So I have quite a bit of stuff to show you today. Really cool pieces. I think every time I go into the thrift store, the inventory is turning over pretty quickly. So I've actually been trying to go more often just so I don't miss out on anything. There are days where I go one night and I go the next night to the same one because I have to run out to the store anyway. And there are a bunch of new stuff to look at. So that's always cool when that happens. Let's get into some of these treasures. First thing here, I'll show you, picked up at Goodwill for $3.99, I think. And this is just a really heavy glass ashtray here. You can see the little grooves. This is like mid-century Murano. And what caught my eye about this is, one, just how thick the glass is. And also how just smooth it is. The bottom here is polished. There is no signature. Either way, the little grooves here are cut out really well, and it's got that nice green bottom to it. So these are pretty cool. I've seen them range a lot in price. This one, I don't really see any major like chips or cracks or anything in it. So I'll probably price this around $75 to $100, maybe a little more. These were selling. I've seen some that were by, famous Italian artists and stuff that were more towards like $500 or $600, which is kind of ridiculous. But I think, anywhere from $75 to $100 is pretty good for this. Next thing I picked up for like $2.19 or $2.11, just a small piece of studio pottery. It's very well done. The glaze is real cool. It's got this kind of like drip to it and kind of a strange little top, but it's very precise. And the bottom is glazed. And it does have a chop mark here. I just got this. I don't know who this is by yet, but for only $2, I always pick really nice pieces of pottery up like this because I've sold other small pieces of pottery where it might be $2, and I figured out it's by this artist and ended up selling it for a couple $100. So I always take a chance on really well-made pottery like this in hopes that I can figure out who the artist is, and if not, it's still nice enough where I can make a small profit. Next one I picked up at a Goodwill, and this one was I think $6.99, and caught my eye about this is just, again, how well it's made, but the glaze is really awesome on this. It's real glossy and kind of goes from, a lighter green, beigeish, tannish color down to like a darker color and has like speckles all the way through. And the bottom here, you can see, also looks very professional. When I looked in the store, I could not see any kind of marks here. And I was going to get it either way just because of how well it's made. I could still, teapots sell, around $75 or $100, like well-made ones. But I couldn't find a mark, and I'm like, oh, well, it's really cool. It's very catchy and very well-made, so I might as well just get it. And then when I got home, I took the top off, and this is actually signed on the inside of the top. So hopefully I'll be able to figure out who signed it. But I did post it to the Facebook group, Studio Pottery Identification. Haven't found anything yet. We'll just keep digging. I'll probably price it a little over $100 unless I can figure out who the artist is. Next thing here I picked up at a Goodwill, and it was, I don't know, $3 and change, $3.33 or something. Caught my eye about this is it definitely looks made by an artisan or somebody rather than just some kind of factory type of decor. It's just It's got these welding marks, kind of brutalist in nature. Nothing too crazy about it. I picked it up. It is stamped on the bottom, Opaque. It's really hard to see, but I didn't know, if that was, because some stuff I have sold, like brutalist candlesticks that really they look like they were made by like an amateur, but ended up being, fairly valuable, selling them for, $100, $200 or something. So again, with only a $3 price, I always take chances with stuff like this that have an artist, stamp or signature. I can tell that it's handmade and, it's just kind of unique, and that kind of fit the bill for this. So I did do some searches, couldn't really find anything, and I might just keep this and put stuff in it. I don't really know, but either way, for $3, kind of a cool little metal box here. Next thing I picked up here, I got a Goodwill, and I got this for $3.19 or $3.33. And what caught my eye about this right away was this opaque glass in combination with the nice, very clear glass. So, there are multiple companies that do this, but when it's done really well, I always hope to find, no, Rick. I always hope to find Lalique on the bottom, and that's what this has. It says Lalique France. It's etched in the bottom by hand, and this is just a little, I guess you put on, a dresser or something and put rings in it or whatever it might be. So really nice little dove. I think it's pretty much usually, sometimes when you find pieces like this, there'll be, a chip or the wing will be broken or something. There might be a tiny, tiny chip here on the corner, but it's not noticeable at all. Unless you rub your finger over it, it feels a little bit sharp. Either way, for $3, these things I saw listed anywhere from like $50 to $100. I'd probably price this one between, $45 and $50. And it should be really simple to ship. So cool piece here. Next piece here I got at Goodwill also, and this one was also like $3.33 or whatever the change was. It's a black and white photograph, and anytime I see older looking photographs like this, like landscape type photographs, I always take a second look at them, because Ansel Adams photographs are worth a lot of money, usually bigger and everything else. This actually is a reproduction of a lithographic reproduction of Ansel Adams photograph here. This was Shoreline and Fog, and it was produced by Museum Graphics. It's all on this little sticker, but it's a really nice photo, and for only $3. I've seen these on eBay and other, this kind of, not this exact photo, but other photographs, this size, even unframed, selling between $50 and $100. But I might even just keep it, because I like vintage photography. So always check out the older black and white photographs you find, especially if it's in a really nice frame. Always check them out and give them a look over, and make sure that you don't see any kind of markings or anything on the back, or that may suggest that it might be by one of those famous older photographers. Here's another photo I found at Goodwill, and this one was, I think, like $5.11 or $4.99 or something. This one is obviously in a kind of just simple, metal frame you see often, but it's a larger photo. I didn't know who this was when I got this. I had no clue who this was, but I did know that, on the back, it does say A.I. Friedman, and then it says it's in New York City and dated 1984 on the back. So anytime you see like a photograph, especially that, it's from a gallery in like New York City or Los Angeles, most likely it has some sort of value. I don't, you don't know exactly how much, but it should have some sort of value, just because it wouldn't be in a gallery if it didn't. And I'm not exactly sure how much this would be worth. But the funny thing is, I, again, had no clue who this was. When I was checking out, there was an older lady who was ringing out my stuff, and she's like, oh, look. And she's like, oh, you found a photo of Gene Kelly. And I was like, I have no clue, you know, like, she's like, oh yeah, that's Gene Kelly. And I was like, all right. And sure enough, did a search and saved me a headache, I guess. But it is a photo of Gene Kelly. I don't know. He was an actor or does plays or whatever. I don't know, you know, which one this is, but it was really nice that she helped me out and figure out who this was. But I'll probably price this in the $100 range. Next thing here, I picked up at Savers, and this one I picked up for $4.99. And what caught my eye about this is I've sold pieces by this artist in the past. It's Pointillism. You can see the tiny dots make up the artwork. And I knew it because the last one I sold had a very similar style, and it also had one of these like inspirational type quotes. And then on the back, sure enough, it was Robert Sexton, and it has the name A Mother's Gift. Seeing that I already sold one or two pieces of his in the past, this, you know, was a no-brainer for $5. I think I sold the other ones between 50 and 100, but I think more around like the 65 to 85 range. The only thing with this one, it slid down inside the matting, so I couldn't see the bottom, but I could see like a little bit of the quote popping out. When I got home, I took it out and repositioned it, and it is limited edition and hand signed and all that stuff, which I thought it would be, but it was nice to actually see that it was. So for $5, I'll probably price this in the $75 range and take, you know, offers for a little bit less. So this piece I found at a Goodwill, and it was $7.99. And this is actually ceramic, like a big ceramic tile, and it's like glued to this piece of plexiglass. What caught my eye about this, obviously, is you don't see this kind of thing every day. And, you know, you can definitely tell that this is like a handmade tile. It's very large, it's well done, colorful. And it actually is signed J. Ruth right here on the side. So all I did was, you know, a quick search, you know, frame tile, signed J. Ruth, or studio pottery tile, signed J. Ruth. And a whole bunch of stuff came up, and it's Ruth Factor or Factorwitz. And she was from Israel, and she made all sorts of really nice, colorful tiles like this. The prices ranged, obviously, large. This looks a little larger on the larger side that she created. More, you know, the smaller ones or unframed ones were selling, you know, around $100 or so, but the larger ones were priced anywhere from $200 to $400. So obviously I'm going to pick this one up, probably price it in the $200 to $250 range, and then, you know, just see where it goes from there. Here's another photo I found, and this was a really cool, I don't know, what caught my eye about this is just the photo itself. One, it's in black and white, which tends to kind of grab my eye almost more than a regular colorful photo. And I think it's just because I've seen so many older vintage photos selling at auction, you know, done by Ansel Adams or whoever else, sell for so much money. It's just like ingrained in my head, I guess. But I saw this, thought it was a super cool photograph here of a little girl, and I'm not sure if these are just mountains or volcano or what, but it is nicely framed. And this is another thing. It actually has like a piece of wood here on the back, and the frame shop is actually in Indonesia, it says, and it is signed here, which I'm not exactly sure what this says. I think it might be Luis Maza, and it's dated 97. I did do some searches around, you know, fine art photographs around like Luis Maza, and did some different spellings of it and all that, and didn't really find too much. But anyway, picked this up. This one was actually $11.11. Got it at Goodwill, and I really have no clue what I would sell this for. So this is one I got recently, and I still need to do some research on. So hopefully it will be worth, a decent amount of money, and I can make a nice profit off of it. Here's my next art piece that I found. I got this at a Savers for $7.99. And this is, definitely kind of mid-century style abstract, and it's actually a skyline. I'm gonna try to make it so don't get too much glare, but it's actually a skyline, kind of minimalist line drawing in nature. And this one is signed J.O. Schlump. What caught my eye about this is the abstract nature, very unique style of this, and that it was also, hand signed. And then the back, it's nicely framed, has the, wire, and, the frame just looked, nicely done up, like professionally framed. So anytime I see that, I always just at least take a look at what art's in there. So this one, I just did some searches around, abstract art by J.O. Schlump, and it turned out to be John O. Schlump. I didn't find a whole bunch of art from him, but I did find a couple pieces, and one was like a miniature skyline type drawing. It was more colorful, but it was limited print, and it was selling for $200. I think it was only like 3x5 or something. It was really small. So I definitely wanted to pick this up, seeing that it's an original, although not very colorful, obviously. So I don't know what I'd really price this for. I'll probably price it around $400 to start and just see where it goes from there. Probably won't get that much, but I always like to start on the high end. This is the last thing I'm going to show you today. I got this at a Goodwill just a couple days ago, and it was, $7.50 or $7 and some change. Haven't seen a painting like this at any thrift stores in a while. And I always get excited when I do, just because you can tell it's canvas. This is actually canvas board, but it's pretty nice landscape in an older frame. Not super antique or anything. I could not find a signature. I don't know if it's buried down in the grass or whatever, but either way, for $7, you can see the back. It does have this canvas panel. I haven't looked this up yet, the stamp. That might help me figure out kind of an age, but you could see, the frame's not in, or the way this is mounted isn't that great. These nails are kind of all over the place, but you can't really beat that for $7. Don't have any clue what I'd price this for. This is another piece that I'd like to get looked at least by somebody. It's a little dirty and dusty. It is bumping up from the board in the back in spots, but either way, really nice painting for $7. So those are my recent thrift store finds. Been busy finding a lot of cool stuff, some great value. So if you haven't been out to the thrift stores lately, I would get out there. There's a whole bunch of people, dumping their stuff in, still trying to clear stuff out during the summer or whatever it might be. I don't know, but definitely some cool stuff out there. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. As always, if you have any questions, you want to let me know anything about any of the stuff that I showed, just leave a comment below. And of course, if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed some of the stuff I found, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back soon. I got a whole bunch of cool auction finds and a new auction site that I've kind of neglected, and I really have gotten into it. So far, I've already bought 3 different items from there. So we'll wait until those come in, and I'll let you know about this site that I should have been probably looking at for a while now, but I just neglected it. So that was kind of dumb of me, but I already found some cool stuff, so stay tuned for that video. So I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all. And if you get out there, I hope you find some awesome treasures you can flip for a profit.